Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to Open Mic here on my YouTube channel. I'm, of course, your host, John Campea. Now, every day on the John Campea Show, our main movie news show, we save a little bit of time for some live questions. But on Open Mic, it's just all live questions. That's all we're here to talk about today. And it's a Friday, so we're going to cut today's show just a little bit short, just so we can all get out and enjoy our weekends. So, without any further ado, let's dive in to the first question today. And the first question today comes to us from Cameron Belgrade, who writes, thoughts on the film Eyes Wide Shut? It's the only Kubrick film I haven't seen. It's a different kind of a movie. It's definitely a different kind of a movie. I dig it. But then again, it's a bit filthy, and, you know, bring on the filthy. I love filthy. But it's an intense film. It's definitely not a movie for everybody. And honestly, it's not like, when I think about Kubrick films, it's not the first one that kind of jumps to my mind, obviously. But yeah, I dig it. I would recommend checking it out. I would. You're going to see a different side to Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman, for that matter, than you'll really see in any other films they do. And I'm not just talking about the nudity or the sex stuff, but you're going to see a different type of a performance from them than I think you're going to see in any of the other films. So yeah, I would say check it out. Give it a shot. Let's see. Darth Impact writes, and did you see CNN's headliners on Black Panther? From concept to premiere, it's really good. Try and catch it. I have not seen it. As a matter of fact, I've never even heard of it, but I will give it a shot. That sounds interesting. Now, I'll be honest with you, I've never heard of this headliner show. Is this a regular series they do? It sounds like it's some kind of a regular series. If it is, that sounds great. Let's see. Next up, Dakota Barber writes, I know who can defeat Dominic Toretto. More with Dominic Toretto. Robert McCall from The Equalizer, maybe. John Wick, maybe. Christian Wolf from The Accountant. Hope your mom is doing well. Yeah, my mom is doing well, thanks. And for those of you who missed it, my mom had heart surgery the other day. Worst day of my life. Sitting here waiting to hear back from my family what was going on. But everything apparently went really, really well. Things look good. As a matter of fact, look, you guys normally know I don't usually keep my phone by me as I'm doing shows. But ever since my mom went in for surgery, and she's now in recovery, and like I said, it went well, but I keep my phone by me now, so it just buzzed. Anyway, she's doing great, and the surgery apparently went as well as can be expected. I'm going to give her a couple of weeks to, because she's got to go, she's going to be in ICU for a bit, then they're going to transfer her to like a facility, and I'm going to give her a couple of weeks just to recover a little bit, and then I'm going to go down, probably take a week off. I'm just giving you guys a heads up. I'll probably take about a week off, and I'm going to fly up to Canada, spend some time with my mom. So anyway, yes, but no, man, come on. Dominic Toretto beats all those guys. Don't you watch Fast and Furious? Come on now. Andrew Oldham writes, the novelization of Jaws, The Revenge, concerned a voodoo witch doctor taking revenge against the Brody family by casting a spell to make the shark go after them. This would have been stupider, right? Okay, tell me this right now. Are you being serious? Is that really what's in the book? A voodoo witch puts a curse on the Brody family, and that's what keeps sending sharks after them? Okay, then. Now, if I remember correctly, and I might not be remembering correctly, didn't the Jaws the Revenge, wasn't that one with Michael Caine? And they were like in the tropics somewhere where there shouldn't be sharks or something like that. And a shark actually followed them to their family vacation. I guess if you have to come up with some kind of semi-rational explanation as to how that happened, I guess, yeah, a voodoo witch doctor putting a shark curse on your family. Sounds perfectly logical to me. Sounds like that makes perfect sense to me. But yes, Andrew, that would have been a lot stupider. I can't even believe that's real. Oh my God. That's ridiculous. Anyway, thanks for sharing that. Now I'm going to have that on my head. Hector Gina writes, I still can't stop thinking of how the game 1997 ended. At first I was like, wait, what? And then I was like, how? I kept thinking something else is going to happen. I need to share this movie experience with somebody. No, and we talked about the game, obviously, the other day, because Hector had bought it, having never seen it before. And it is, I don't want to go into the whole spiel again that I did the other day, but again, Michael Douglas, Sean Penn, it's a movie that, a really good movie will make you think, oh, I think I know what's going on. And then a really good movie will make you go, oh, wait, no, I've changed my mind. The Game is a movie that makes you change your mind about 5 or 6 times. It's a really good one. If you haven't checked it out, follow Hector's lead. Go check out the game. And watch it with somebody. Watch it with somebody so you can have somebody to decompress with afterwards. Joshua Stevens writes, thoughts on Spider-Man 2 title might be called Field Trip. I haven't heard that from anywhere or from anyone. If that was the title, it's not bad. I mean, it's certainly kind of consistent. With Homecoming as a title, right? So Homecoming, Field Trip. Yeah, that would work. I mean, I have no problem. Again, I don't know if there's any legitimacy to that, but if it were, it's not bad. It is consistent with the original one with Homecoming. So sure, why not? Dakota Barber writes, if you want a really good movie recommendation, check out Revenge. It's about a woman left for dead and goes after the ones who did it. Can rent it on Amazon. Hold a second. I think I know exactly the movie you're talking about. Let me see here. Oh, this is not... If you're talking about the 2017 movie, that is not the movie I was thinking about, as a matter of fact. This is one that I guess never got a theatrical release. But I have not heard of this one. You're saying it's on Amazon? I will check it out. It's not the film I was thinking of. You know what? The film I was thinking of was probably... Damn it, what's that one where the girl gets attacked and they shoot her and they leave her for dead, only she survives and she comes back to her parents' house and her parents have taken in the people who did it, not realizing these people attacked their daughter. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. That's the movie I was thinking of, but this is not that movie. But thanks for the recommendation, Dakota. Let's see. Josh Crichton writes, clarification from this morning. Scarlett Johansson and Pete Yorn have a new album out called Apart. Check it out. Came out today. Yeah, never heard of it. Oh, so when you said episode, I believe you said, I read it as Scarlett Johansson and Pete Yorn have a new episode. You probably meant new EP, which is a slang for another way of saying a record. Okay, nope, never even heard of it. I didn't even have any idea Scarlett Johansson sings. So you see, you learn something new every day doing this show. Andrew Oldham writes, just to follow up, most film novelizations around that time were based on rejected early drafts of screenplays, meaning Jaws 4 could have been even dumber. Okay, so, but I don't know if that's a fact. I don't know if that novelization was a rejected screenplay, but you might be onto something. And you're right. That would have been... Although, look, it was already kind of stupid. The notion... And I know most of you guys have never seen Jaws 4. Thank your lucky stars. But the notion that a shark, completely unrelated to the other sharks from the first 3 Jaws movies, has inbred into it some genetic code that says, I need to track down and take vengeance on this land-dwelling family. And it follows them across the ocean to their family vacation and starts attacking them there. It is just never... So honestly with you, I'm not even sure a voodoo witch would have been any more dumb than just some shark that randomly feels some genetic urge to go and take revenge on some land-dwelling family. I honestly don't know that a voodoo witch would have been any worse. I mean, it would have been pretty bad. Maybe they could have got Papa Shango from the old WWF days. Maybe that would have, you know what? Suddenly you got the makings of a good movie right there. Let's see here. Joshua Stevens writes, I saw that Movie Pass is back offering $10 a month unlimited. Are they really? Hold on a second. Let me look this up. I have not heard that yet. If that's true, wow. Yep, there it is. Oh, okay, yes, yes. So that part, sorry, I thought we were talking about like unlimited as in letting people go back and see a movie multiple times. Okay, so yes, they did bring the unlimited plan back. However, they reinstituted their old rule that you can only see a movie once. You can't see a movie more than once on Movie Pass. Now, when they did their whole big $10 a month promotion, they got rid of that restriction and said, oh yeah, you can go see a movie as many times as you want. Then, just in time for Avengers Infinity War, they reinstituted that restriction. So yes, Unlimited is back, But unfortunately, also that the other thing that's come back is the restriction that you can only see a movie once. So if you use your movie pass to go see Infinity War or Deadpool or Solo or Incredibles 2 that's coming up or Jurassic World or whatever, you can't go and see it again with movie pass. You're going to have to go see some other movie. And like, I love the way in their press release, they try to spin it as if they were doing us a favor. They're like, this is our way of wanting to encourage you to go check out some other films. No, it's not. You just don't want us to use the card as much, which is fine, but just admit it. Just be out front and say it. Okay. Murray Reich writes, "Hey John, I clicked on the John Campea show video earlier today, and it came up a very strong message saying the following content has been identified by the YouTube community as inappropriate and offensive to some audiences." Yep, and I have no idea why. And as a matter of fact, sometimes when there's some discrepancy or some misunderstanding about your video, there'll be a little option where you can request that it be manually reviewed. Like sometimes I'll get, about every 4 or 5 videos that I do, I'll get a little warning saying, oh, this video has been flagged as inappropriate for advertisers. Like nothing else happens in the video. Everything looks fine and normal and it functions as normal. But just so I know, they're not going to run any ads on it because it's been determined that this video has been flagged for being inappropriate for advertisers. And then it gives me a little button that says, do I want to request a manual review? So I click that button and say, yes, please manually review this. And then every single time they reinstate the ads on it and they make it monetizable again. With this video that I did this morning that got flagged as being identified as inappropriate and offensive for some audiences, it didn't even give me that button. It says already manually reviewed. So it's like, okay, so a real human being went in there and looked and said, yes, this video is inappropriate and offensive. And I'm like, for what? For what? I've done much worse. I mean, I don't even think I swore on the episode. So I have sent in an email to my YouTube rep just to see, hey, what the heck? Why did this video get flagged like this? Like, at least if you can tell me why it was flagged, because maybe I did something that I'm missing. Maybe I did something inadvertently that I'm not aware of, right? But yeah, so far I haven't heard back from my YouTube rep. So I am now fortunately, you can still click play it anyway, and the video's getting views, so yay. But I mean, yeah, I am a bit concerned about why that happened. And I'm waiting for that, especially since it said it was been manually reviewed by a YouTube person. That part's really concerning to me. I'd really like to find out why that happened. But at any rate, hey, as long as the video didn't get pulled down, it's not too terribly bad. Let's see. Adamus95 writes, why has the Star Wars community become so toxic? I find it quite embarrassing because we're all adults and we can't have an adult conversation about Star Wars. Well, it comes down to, we talked about this the other day. There's a human tendency that when somebody likes something that you don't like, or if somebody doesn't like something that you do like, you feel like that's an attack on you. And you therefore need to lash out and make excuses for why somebody else wouldn't feel the same way you do. Because I'm right. So if somebody disagrees with me, there must be a reason why they disagree with me, because they can't just honestly disagree with me. There must be a reason. There must be an ulterior motive, right? And we're seeing it going 2 ways. One is, look, there's no denying. All you have to do is read through the comments section on like Rotten Tomatoes for The Last Jedi to see some people, started backlashing against The Last Jedi because they don't want to see women and they don't want to see people of color. However, those people represent the minority of people who didn't like The Last Jedi. And one of the unfair and unfortunate things that has happened, and we just talked about this just yesterday, as a matter of fact, is that what some people do, like some people who like The Last Jedi, they hear somebody doesn't like The Last Jedi, and even if they're just saying that, hey, I just didn't like The Last Jedi because I didn't like the way they did this with Luke, or I didn't like the way they did this, whatever. And some people can't handle that, and so they instantly lob those people in with the racists and the sexists. And that's not fair. The other way, people who don't like The Last Jedi, and this has happened to me like tons, if you say, I do like The Last Jedi, well, they can't handle that somebody disagrees with them. So they go, oh my gosh, my head can't handle this. There must be an excuse. I know, he gets paid by Disney. So, I get that all the time. And then I get that when I say, like when I go to see Justice League like 7 times, right? People who hate the DCU, then, oh, you're just being paid off by Warner Brothers. I say I like Solo and Last Jedi, you get paid off by Disney. So it goes both ways. Both are brainless, and they're both, like I said, this pathetic human tendency that we have, that if we see somebody who thinks something we don't, we have to lash out at it because we make excuses for it. Oh, you're just a racist. Sometimes the people are, but that's the minority of them, not the majority. So that's unfair. You like The Last Jedi? You get paid off by Disney. What are you going to do? When people like that on either side are clearly so out of touch with reality and they don't want to hear logic, they don't want to hear anything else, they've already decided a narrative in their head to protect their own fragile egos. That, no, you can't like something I don't, because that would mean there might be something wrong with the way I think. Therefore, I have to attack you with this, this, or this. So there's just no engaging them either way. And it is unfortunate that it is on both sides. And it's something that needs to be identified, but there's no fixing it. That's just it. There's no fixing it. People are the way they are. And I just realized there's no fixing it, which is one of the reasons why I decided to cancel Star Wars talk. It's like, you know what? There's no fixing this. People just are the way they are. And that's why I shut it down. Joshua Stevens writes, Human Centipede should also be in the holy grail of worst movies, OMG. Yeah, not really, because to me, when I talk about the Holy Trinity, the Mount Rushmore of the worst films ever made, I usually give a disclaimer on that these are major studio Hollywood wide release films. Human Centipede wasn't that. So that's why I don't include that. And I'm sure there are little B movies that are worse than the ones that I put up on the Mount Rushmore of the worst movies ever. And the triumvirate of the worst movies, wide release Hollywood big studio movies to me ever are Highlander 2, Catwoman, Battlefield Earth. There you go. So I'm sure there are some B-level movies that are even worse, but then you could be talking about obscure little films all day. As far as the worst ones ever, I usually confine it to the understanding that we're talking about big Hollywood-produced wide-release films. But you're right, Human Centipede is awfully bad. Let's see. Johnny Banks writes, if Aquaman, Shazam, and Wonder Woman 2 all come out and are all received well and make a lot of money, do you still think they should reboot? Okay, well, that's like saying, if they do another 50 Shades of Grey and everybody loves it and it makes $1 billion, then what? Well, now you're painting the sky in rainbows. You're making up a completely fictitious scenario. Let's put it this way. I have a feeling one or two of these movies may actually end up setting up some kind of a soft reboot anyway. But let's look. Aquaman's not going to make a lot of money. It's just not. I think it can make money. I think it can be profitable, especially when you got James Wan directing it. And I like Jason Momoa as Aquaman. But let's not fool ourselves. Aquaman's not going to make $800 million. It's just, if Justice League with Aquaman and Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman can't make $800, Aquaman on his own is not going to make $800 million. Awesome if it does, but it's not. Shazam is not going to make $800 million. Wonder Woman may. Wonder Woman, hey, look, if they make Wonder Woman 2 the same caliber of quality, and we've still got the same director is in there, which is the most important thing. If she can come up, if Patty Jenkins can come in there and deliver not even better, just the same quality, then I think you're talking about a possibility that Wonder Woman could be $1 billion film. Could be. I'm not saying it will, but I think the potential's there that it could be. But let's be honest, Shazam is not going to make $800 million. Aquaman's not going to make $800 million. So I don't even really see the point in getting into it. Now, they might be great. I really like the director on Shazam, and I really like the director on Aquaman. So these movies might be great, but I mean, they're not going to be, not even going to get close to sniffing $1 billion. Like if Justice League doesn't, these films won't. But they can be profitable. And look, I think Hamada, who is the new head guy overseeing all the DCEU films, I think Hamada has a plan. I don't think we know what that plan is. I don't even think we're going to get a sniff as to what the plan is for at least another year. But I think he's got his plan. I think they're going to put it into motion, and then we're just going to have to see what it is. And then we'll go from there. Johnny Banks writes, also, have you ever met Tom Hanks in person? If so, is he as great as everyone says? He's one of the very, I mean, I met him just ever so briefly, like 10 years ago on a red carpet that I was just passing by, and I had the moment to say hello. That's about it. And it's unfortunate. He's like one of the only guys I haven't met. And the really sucky part about that is he is my wife Anne's absolute, bar none, nobody else comes close, 100% favorite celebrity in the world. Which might have something to do with the fact that Big is her all-time favorite movie. Like what Star Wars is to me, Big is to her. He is by far her favorite guy. And I would do anything to be able to introduce my wife to Tom Hanks. I would do anything. I would give away my car if I could, just because I know if I could do that, if I could introduce Anne to Tom Hanks, it would make her life. It would be the best moment. I would like to say her best moment since the day of our marriage, but let's be honest, she will rank it higher than the day she married me if she got to meet Tom Hanks. So I would give anything. And I love Tom Hanks. Huge fan of Tom Hanks myself, but I would give anything to be able to introduce Anne to Tom Hanks. It would be like the most important thing in the world to me. So nope, I haven't had the chance yet. But I would like, it would mean the world to my wife. Oh my God, it would mean the world to my wife. And but maybe someday it'll happen. But you know, the thing is, I gave up doing press junkets years ago, so that's really lessened my chances of ever having a chance to meet him, but I'll keep my fingers crossed. Murray Reich writes, any update on Solo spoiler discussion for Sunday? If there is not going to be one, then can you do it on the Patreon page? You know what? Yeah, I think we're going to do it. I think we'll have a discussion about it. So, as a result, I'm going to have to push back Movie Club yet again another week. Sorry about that, guys. This is like the third time I push it off. My bad. Terrible planning on my part. Just awful. But yeah, I think we're going to do the Solo spoiler review Sunday, 2 p.m. So Sunday at 2 p.m., we are going to 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We're going to do a Solo open forum spoiler discussion about Solo. So I'm just going to keep my fingers crossed that we don't get a lot of trolls in there. But I'll make sure I have some moderators in there too to try to keep it as civil as possible. But yeah, so Sunday, 2 p.m., open discussion about the Solo movie. What we liked about the Solo movie, what we didn't like, some questions we have, some ideas we have, whatever. We're going to do it. So there you go. It's really late, way late, but enough of you guys kept asking me to do it, so we'll do it. We'll do it on Sunday at 2 o'clock. Let's see. Dakota Barber writes, this might be unpopular, but I think Zodiac is Fincher's best film. Gone Girl for a close second. I don't think it's that unpopular. I mean, I don't agree, but I think you would find, Dakota, there are a lot of people who think Zodiac is Fincher's best film. For me, I'm not even sure Gone Girl is my number one, but Gone Girl would certainly rank up there for me. I'm actually not a huge fan of Zodiac. I like it, but I'm not a huge fan of it. I have some issues with it, but whatever. But a lot of people really love that movie, man. So I don't think that opinion of yours is nearly as unpopular as you might fear it is. I think it's probably, you're more in line with a lot of people's way of thinking than you might think. All right, next up. Josh Crichton writes, if you were a studio executive, which mob family would you do a movie about? Oh, I don't know. By the way, your character Giovanni Burton in my book, Hotel Reynolds, if you remember, it's connected to the mob in New York City. Which mob would I do? I have no idea. I am not from New York. I do not keep my fingers on the pulse of what's the mob activity in New York like these days, or anywhere for that matter. The only thing I know about the mob is growing up being convinced that my Italian grandfather was in the mob. That's the only thing. That's my closest connection to the mob, and the fact that I'm Italian. That is my closest connection to the mob. Yeah, I have no idea. I can't even think of a name of any mobs or mobsters. I really can't. So I wish I could answer your question, Josh. I just have nothing to throw in there. Josh follows up with, I watched I, Tonya last night. Great movie. What a great movie. It's on Hulu. Oh, it's on Hulu. Pardon me, it's on Hulu now? Oh my goodness. Josh, if Josh is right, everybody, and I, Tonya, and I know not a ton of you saw it because it didn't do a lot of money at the box office. Holy crap. First of all, Allison Janney, who plays her mom in the movie, who plays Margot Robbie's mom in the movie, she won all the awards last. Like, she won the Oscar, she won the Golden Globe, she won the SAG Award. Watch I, Tonya, and that's because that's what she won it for, and you'll see exactly why she won all those awards. You'll also see why Margot Robbie got nominated for Best Actress. She's fantastic. The Winter Soldier, Sebastian Stan, is in the movie as well. He has a big major role in the movie. It is wonderful. It's informative, like it's a little bit shocking. It's also very funny. It's a tremendously good film. And I had no idea that it was on Hulu. So, hey guys, there's another good reason to have Hulu. Check out I, Tonya. It's a wonderful film. I think you'll enjoy it a lot. Thanks for pointing that out, Josh. Murray Reich writes, when do you think we'll hear an update for episode 9's dilemma regarding Leia? Whew. I'm on board with recasting, but if they do, we may run the risk of having more divisiveness with the fan base. Thoughts? Well, as other people have pointed out, Star Wars is in a no-win situation when it comes to the Leia situation, because if they kill off the character off screen, that is going to piss off some fans, myself included. If they try to CG the character, well, that's going to piss off just about everybody, I think. I think that would just about piss off everybody. If they recast the character, you're going to get, they recast the character in honor of Carrie Fisher to carry this ball across the goal line for her, which I think is the only way to properly pay respect to Carrie Fisher. If they do that, there are going to be some people like me that goes, yay, that's great. But there's also going to be a bunch of people that goes, boo, that's terrible. So they're in a no-win situation. No matter what they do with the Leia situation, there are going to be people that get pissed off. Now, the only way I see Lucasfilm getting out unscathed from this, and this is unfortunate, I mean, because it's nobody's fault. I mean, Carrie passed away. I mean, it's put them in an impossible position. The only way I see out of this without anybody or without a significant amount of people getting upset is if Carrie's daughter comes out and makes a statement. If Carrie's daughter, like I want the Princess Leia character, I want the Leia character recast. I think it's completely disrespectful to Carrie Fisher to not finish out the character. But that's just my point of view. However, even though that's what I think, and there are others who think like me, if Carrie Fisher's daughter comes out and says, hey, I love that everybody wants to see my mom's legacy continued and have the Princess Leia character finish out her true story run in episode 9 the way they always intended her to. However, as a family, we don't feel good about that as a family. If they said that, no matter how strongly I feel that they should recast Leia, I go, okay, done. If Carrie's daughter and the family say, we don't want the role recast, which there's an urban myth out there that they've already said that. No, they just said they don't want a CG version of her. And I don't think anybody does. At the same time, I think if Carrie's daughter came out and said, you know what? We are so grateful that Lucasfilm is going to recast the role in honor of my mom and take and carry on my mom's legacy with this character, with this Leia character, and let her finish out the true story run for Leia in episode 9. I think if she said that, I think most of the people who are against recasting would go the same thing as me. They would go, okay, if Carrie's daughter says that, then we're on board. So I think if Carrie's daughter came out and made a statement one way or the other, I think all of us, or at least the vast majority of us, I think we'd all get on board. with she doesn't want to recast, no problem, then don't recast. She does want it recast, okay, recast. I think everybody would pretty much be on board. But honestly, I feel like the only person on the planet who can bring that type of agreement is Carrie's daughter. And I think if Carrie's daughter's come out and says what she wants, I think everybody else, I think at least the mass majority of us on both sides of this debate, I think we can agree we would all get on board. I think people who are against recasting would get on board with me if that's what Carrie's daughter said she wanted. I think people like me would get on board if Carrie's daughter said they don't want to recast. I think that's the only thing. Otherwise, there is no out on this for Lucasfilm. They are damned if they do, damned if they don't. And it's an unfortunate situation. Let's see how this all works out. Let's see. Kevin Brown writes, you often refer to Justice League as DC's crown jewel. Respectfully, that jewel was pretty ugly. They only had 3 movies prior to Justice League, and we haven't even been introduced to all the characters. Well, I mean, hold on a second now. First of all, I've never said Justice League was the crown jewel of the DCU. I said it was supposed to be the crown jewel of the DCEU. Also, I look with full respect to you, Kevin, and your point of view, absolutely. But you know me, I kind of reject the argument that each individual character has to have their own standalone film first in order for a team-up film to work. It worked for Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy is, you got Groot, you got Rocket, you got Drax the Destroyer, you got Gamora, you got Star-Lord. They didn't need to all have individual standalone films to make their big team-up movie work. You just started off the movie, bring them together, and there's your team, go. And it worked. There's absolutely no reason in the world why it could not have worked for Justice League to start off that way too. You don't need a Cyborg standalone movie to have Cyborg in Justice League, from my point of view. You don't need to have a standalone Aquaman movie first before doing Justice League. I don't, just because Marvel did it one way doesn't mean that's the way DC has to do it. I very strongly believe they could have, just like Guardians of the Galaxy, they could have started off with a team movie, and if they crushed it and executed it, nobody else would be having this conversation. So, as you said respectfully to me, I say respectfully to you. I disagree with your premise there, but you're not alone. There are other people who feel the same way you do, Kevin. I just really feel like they could have done it. It's not a matter that it wasn't the right formula. It's the matter that they didn't execute. At least they didn't execute well enough to make other people like it. I liked it, but a lot of people didn't. Hector Jeter writes, since I'm on the David Fincher mode, I'm going to rewatch 7 and giving Zodiac a watch for the first time. Thanks, Dakota Barber, for the recommendation. Yeah, oh my gosh, if you haven't seen, like I said, I'm not a huge fan of Zodiac, but so many people are that I would highly recommend checking it out. And yes, I'm the type of guy that I will recommend movies that I don't like if I know a lot of other people do. And that's, Zodiac is one of them. If you have not seen Zodiac, you absolutely should check it out. And yes, 7 is always worth it. I watch 7 again, probably every 2 or 3 years. I'll sit down, it's like, oh yeah, click. And I'll put that on. So, there you go, Descartes. Thanks for recommending a film to Hector. Patrick Conway writes, will we see Hulk versus Groot, that Vin Diesel teasing? I doubt it. I really don't think so. And that really shouldn't be much of a fair fight either, but I don't think that's ever going to happen. Yeah, Vin Diesel once said he would love to see that, but of course he would. He's Groot, so he would love to see that. But I don't think we're actually going to see that, no. I mean, hey, I could be wrong. Kevin Feige might be playing right now in the hallowed halls of the MCU, Kevin Feige may be sitting down as we speak with Christopher Nolan and scripting out and plotting out the standalone Hulk versus Groot movie. For all we know, that could be happening. I just don't think that's what's going to happen. All right, here. Paul writes, they should have shown more of Alden in the first trailer. He is really good in the movie, and they acted like they must hide him in the first trailer. I don't know. I never felt that, personally. I thought the first trailer was just a first trailer. Like a first trailer, it's not as if other people had tons of dialogue. Like when you can tell that a studio is trying to hide a particular weak actor is when everybody else in the trailer has tons of dialogue except the main character. But I thought the first trailer was just kind of a first tease. I never really got that sense at all personally. But you're right. He worked out really good in the movie. I was quite impressed with how well he played the role. Okay, let's see. Had a little bit of a jump. Where are we? La la la. Oh, there we go. Okay. Lawrence RBE writes, will Black Panther cross 700 million? Maybe it's pride thing for me, but I hope it does because it is so close. By the way, excellent case for the Kathleen Kennedy removal. Thank you so much for that. But I doubt it. Let me just look up here. Black Panther box office. Let me see here how close it is exactly. Black Panther is only like $1 million away from getting into the, from joining the 700 million domestic club. It's a very, very rare club. Let's see here. I'm going to doubt it because it's really not in any cinemas anymore. Hold on a second. Let me see what I can pull up here. Where is Black Panther? Black Panther, well, you know, last weekend it made $600,000. I don't know. The problem, here's the big problem. It's been out. There are two big problems. It's been out for 15 weeks. Everybody's seen already. The other big problem is it's available on home video. So I'm going to guess it will not cross 700 million domestically, but it's practically at 700 million. But will it actually technically get in? I'm going to guess no. Like I said, it made 600,000 this weekend, which means it's going to make probably about 200,000 next weekend. And it's already out on home video, so I'm going to guess not. But it's still a huge amount of money, man. It's still a massive amount of money. Timothy Plott writes, this world is too negative. Everybody needs to watch the Christopher Robin trailer ASAP. Just watched it yesterday, and even though you said it was great, I was still blown away. Super huge smile. No kidding, right? You know what the other one is? What's the name of the Mr. Rogers trailer? Is it Will You Be My Neighbor? Or something like that is the name of the documentary, the new Mr. Rogers documentary that's coming out. Oh my God, you want to just smile and feel better about humanity? 1, watch the Mr. Rogers documentary trailer. 2, watch the Christopher Robin trailer. You'll just feel better about humanity at that point. And I think, Timothy, you're absolutely right. It's like one of those, because I heard somebody tweeted me and said, John, the new Christopher Robin trailer's out. It's fantastic. It's unbelievable. So my expectation level was already too high. It's like, okay, I'll watch it. And even though I'd already heard it was great, I'm watching, I'm just like, my God, that damn little bear. Like, I was just so excited and so happy. And you're right, man. If you're feeling like the world's getting you down, watch the Mr. Rogers trailer. Watch the Christopher Robin trailer. Absolutely. Thanks for bringing that up, Timothy. All right. Rick Keir writes, this Comic-Con, Warner Brothers and DC should have their shit together because Marvel is not having a Hall H now. Is there time? It's their time to shine and or reboot. Well, even if they're rebooting, either way, whether they're not rebooting or whether they are, this is their time to shine. They have such an opportunity to have the spotlight practically all to themselves and really make a statement. And regardless of whatever direction they're going, this is the time to make that statement. You know what I'm saying? And especially with them not there, it's the biggest stage in the world for pop culture stuff going on. It's San Diego Comic-Con. Marvel's not doing a Hall H. Oh my God, go big. Own it. This is a huge opportunity to really not only make everybody aware of stuff that's going on, but to make your case directly to the fans about why what you're doing in the DCEU is going to be awesome. This is your chance. I hope they do not flake. I hope they do not pass up this opportunity or let it slip by. They got to jump on this. And I'm looking forward to something big from them. I really think they, and I think they will. I think they will. All right. Let's see. Joe D'Amato writes, John, sorry if already asked, but what movie are you most looking forward to in June? Let me see here. Let me just bring up June for a second. I'm definitely looking forward to Action Point. I'm probably going to try to see that today or tomorrow. Hotel Artemis is one I'm really looking forward to. Hereditary, Incredibles 2, Tag. I'm really looking forward to Tag. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, Sicario, and then we're into... I'm going to say Incredibles 2. As much as I'm looking forward to Hereditary and Hotel Artemis, and I'm looking forward to Jurassic World, I think Incredibles 2. That's probably... I mean, we've been waiting so damn long for this movie that, I mean, my anticipation is like coming right out my neck practically. So, yes, I'm going to say Incredibles 2, although some really good movies coming out in June, but I'm going to go with Incredibles 2. Okay, let's see. Maurice Cook writes, "Hey, John, do you think Solo could have been a big hit if they made a CGI of Harrison Ford like they did in Rogue One with Carrie Fisher?" No. And not to mention, that would have added hundreds of millions of dollars to your thing. Look, it's one thing to have a character standing still for just a minute or two and CGI on the face and blah, blah, blah. Hope. Like, it's one thing to do that. We are nowhere near being able to do that for a full-length feature film. So maybe it would have made some more money at the box office, but any more money they would have made at the box office would have been completely lost, and then some with the added expense and that it would have cost to do it. Not to mention, it just wouldn't have looked right. It can look right if he's standing still and just talking and doing this a little bit. You can do it like they did with Tony Stark in Captain America Civil War. Just stand there, turn your head like this. Remember when they did the young Tony Stark? You can do that. To do a full movie of it, we're just not there yet. Couldn't have happened. Brimmick70 writes, "Would Obi-Wan be relying on nostalgia if it was a good character-driven, introspective drama? Same for Fett, if it's a fun deep dive into the underworld." Well, I mean, the whole premise is based on nostalgia. Because why don't you do... Here's the question. Why don't you do a good character-driven, introspective drama about somebody else? With Fett, why don't you do a good, fun, deep dive into the underworld with somebody else? Your whole starting notion is that you're relying on nostalgia. The whole basis of it is a nostalgia play. And I get nostalgia. Nostalgia can be a good thing when it's done in moderation. So far, everything about that's been going on has been a nostalgia play. And I'm frankly over it. Look, I'll be there opening day for a Boba Fett. I'll be there opening day for an Obi-Wan. But they're not the movies that I want. I mean, I want them to expand the universe. I want them to do new things, tell new stories. Like, there's so much to tell here. These 8 people aren't the only ones who are struggling about and resisting the Empire. There are other people in this huge galaxy doing that. Maybe tell their stories. Like, I don't know. It just... So, again, my response, Brimmick, would be, if you want to make a really good character-driven introspective drama, do it. Just do it with another character. So, yeah, but either way, they're both starting off with the premise of, we're making a nostalgia play. Now let's make as good of a movie around as we can. Look, I still don't like that they made the Solo movie, but I really like the Solo movie. Solo's fun. Solo's a good movie. I still kind of wish they had put their energy and effort towards doing something else, but I liked it. And hey, I may end up really liking an Obi-Wan movie, and I may end up really liking a Boba Fett movie. Sure, I'm open to that, but I'll still kind of wish they did something else. You know what I'm saying? That's just kind of where I'm... That doesn't mean you have to feel the same way. I'm just saying that's just kind of where I'm coming from. Okay. Happy Time Muppet writes, "Oh, nothing. Just put in a super... Thank you so much, Happy Time Muppet." Brimmick follows up. What's your definition of a new character for a Star Wars live action? Is adapted from animation or books okay? Or does it have to be totally new? I'm okay with getting something from the EU, for instance, because look, 95% of the movie-going audience has never heard of Mara Jade. 90% of the movie-going audience has never heard of, I don't know, any character you want to pull out of the EU. So if you want to pull one from there, sure, that's fine, because the 95% of the people, it would be a new character. So I don't mind that, but why not just make a new character? I mean, sure, go for an EU one. That's fine. I would have no problem with that. But if it was up to me, I'd just say create a new character. But no, I'd be fine with that. Yeah, I'd be fine if they wanted to pull in some new characters that were in the previous EU. I'd be fine with that. Okay, running out of time here. Kane Earthrin writes, Star Trek doesn't seem to have a cohesive vision like... Is it Star Trek? Like the OT hat. I don't know what we're talking about. It's like the directors are doing their own thing. How will JJ wrap this whole saga up in episode 9? Are you saying Star Wars, not ST? I don't know. But, I mean, I don't know. I mean, that... How Kathleen Kennedy has navigated her way with directors is one of my big issues. You guys know this. I have been talking about this. If you go all the way back to one of my old shows, when they announced that that Trank was leaving, and at first it was the whole creative differences thing. And I'm like, how the hell are there creative differences? How did you not know if you had creative differences before you hired him? When they announced the firing of Colin Trevorrow over creative differences, I'm like, for what? Like, it's been 2 years. How did you, why don't you figure out if you have creative differences before you hire them? And have been working on this for 2 years. With Lord and Miller, it's like, how do you get 85% of the way into shooting a movie and only then realize this isn't going the way we wanted it to go? Like, go back and watch all of my own shows when all that happened. I was expressing the same frustration as I am now about that. So I don't know. I mean, whatever JJ wants to do. Like, a lot of people think that, you know, the thing with Ray's parentage, that's just something that Rian Johnson pulled on JJ. When, Daisy Ridley confirmed that, no, Ray's parents being nobodies is something she was told when they were shooting The Force Awakens. So that was part of JJ's plan. So I have a feeling there's probably a number of things that were in The Last Jedi that some people think was something that was pulled out at the last second, but probably was part of JJ's plan anyway. We're going to have to wait and find out for sure. So we'll just have to wait and see. Let's see here. Manuel Castro writes, prayers for you and your family and hoping for a speedy recover for Mama Campea. Thank you so much, Manuel. I really appreciate that. Thank you. That's very kind of you to say, man. Gio writes, the scenes where Michael Scott proposes, cried hard. That was a nice scene. But you know what? My favorite Michael Scott scene. Somebody asked me this question a few weeks ago on the show about what was my all-time, because I love The Office. Somebody asked me what's my all-time favorite moment, and the moment that still gets me most choked up, because you're talking about a scene that made you cry, is the episode where Pam has her art show. Or she has a display at a big art show, and she has her own display at it. And nobody comes. And nobody comes to see it. And just as she's getting ready to give up, and she's getting ready to pack her art away to close up for the day, Michael Scott shows up. And he's like, you drew this? Wow! Like, how much? And she goes, you want to buy it? He goes, of course, you drew our office. We gotta hang that up. We gotta frame that. And like, the way I'm describing it doesn't do it justice. Because the episode did such a great job setting up where Pam's emotions would be. And then Michael shows up and heaps all this praise on her and makes her feel valued. And she just throws her arms around him and hugs him and almost starts to cry. It is one of the most beautiful moments in a sitcom I have ever seen. It's just a brilliant, brilliant moment, and I love it. Rick Keir writes, Greedo shot first. Well, according to George Lucas, he did. So, yes, he did. Greedo did shoot first. Andrew Lee writes, last line of the last ever Jurassic Park movie. You know, maybe we should just stop making the carnivorous ones. That's a pretty good idea. Maybe we should just stop making the carnivorous ones. That's good. I like that. Maybe that's from a book or something, but I've never heard of it before. That's funny. And our graphics designer, Ray, my brother-in-law, ladies and gentlemen, Anne's brother. Ray Ora writes, Darth Vader robotic vacuum is on sale for $280. Can you give Ray an estimate on when he will be receiving it? Please use Prime shipping. I'm kidding you not. Anne sent me this. You know, I'm going to show you just to show you. I'm not even exaggerating this. Anne, where's Anne? So Anne, there's my wife, Ann Campea. She sent me this text this morning. Where did it go? Oh, there it is. Yeah, she sent me this text right? You see this big blue text that she sent me. I'm like, oh, what's this thing? It's a link. So I open it up, and it's to the Darth Vader Robo Vacuum that plays music and all this kind of stuff. Now, I'm looking at it, and it says it's $500. It's saying $499. Now, when I looked at it yesterday, it was like $699. So it has come down $100. But you're saying it's on sale for $280? Well, I'm on the Amazon. Like, sorry guys, me and Ray are conducting some business here. I am on the Amazon page, and it says $500. If that thing is $280, I'm gonna buy one because that thing is awesome. But send me a link, Ray. Send me a link because the link I got still says $500, and I ain't spending $500 on it. Sebastian Gomez. Oh, and I'm buying it for me. Sebastian Gomez writes, you can super chat on iPhone now. I didn't know that wasn't something you could do before. That was something you couldn't do before? Oh, well, there you go. That's awesome. Thanks for letting me know about that, Sebastian. Edgar Navarro writes, do you wish you had a super chat cutoff button? No, not ever since see, what happened was somebody gave me the idea. See, I used to stress out about it. And I would never be able to end shows. I have to tell people stop because I have to stop the show, and I don't want somebody to send in a super chat and not get answered. But then somebody gave me the suggestion and said, hey, just make a follow-up video with all the ones. Oh, Ray just texted me. It was just a flash sale. We missed it. Damn it. I had somebody send me a suggestion. Hey, just do a follow-up video. And I went, oh, yeah. So I don't have to tell people not to send them in. And because if we don't get around to them, I can still answer them on a companion. That's how the companion videos got started. So yes, there was a time when I was really wishing we had a cutoff button for super chat. But then once I realized, oh, we can do companion videos, and everybody seemed to like the companion videos, and that solved that problem. Which, by the way, guys, I've got time to get to like 2 more questions, and then all the other, but don't worry, all the other questions that you guys have sent in live here, we're almost out of time, but all the other questions you sent in live that I don't have time to answer live here will be answered on the next companion video. Don't you worry about it. All right. Ben Rayner writes, what HGTV shows do you watch? I watch Property Brothers. Oh, I love the Property Brothers. Most of their stuff is in Canada, by the way. They shoot most of their stuff in Ontario. My wife and I loved Fixer Upper with Chip and Joanne Gaines. I can't help it. I know it's cheesy. I love that couple. I also watch Good Bones. I also watch Love It or List It. That's another one. And I watch some Flip or Flop too. I don't know why. I watch a lot of HGTV. And because when I'm laying in bed and going to sleep, I like to have something on, just turn my brain off. And I like having HGTV on, either HGTV or the Food Network. Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, baby. Okay. Jake Stanley writes, excellent video on Kathleen Kennedy. Couldn't agree more. Thank you for putting my thoughts into words. That video alone guarantees I'll keep watching. Oh, thank you so much, Jake. And yeah, this is the one thing I want to keep getting across to everybody. Sometimes you can have a good person that's just in the wrong spot. Steven Spielberg has said that Kathleen Kennedy is like the most gifted producer he's ever worked with. George Lucas respects her so much that George Lucas handpicked her to run Lucasfilm. She's a tremendously talented movie executive. Tremendously talented. I just no longer believe that she is the right person. I used to believe it. When they announced she was taking over Lucasfilm, I was like, that's the perfect choice. Oh my God, that's the perfect choice. But the things I listed in the video, you guys know for years I've been complaining about the way she's been able to, or lack of ability to handle directors. The fact that she's not been able to unify the fandom. And like I mentioned this morning, the thing that really pushed me over the edge was for 6 months, I have been waiting patiently for her to come out and do something, to say something, to show she's putting in some kind of effort to rally the Star Wars fans together. Amongst all the division, amongst all the toxicity, amongst all of that stuff, I've been sitting and waiting for the leader of Star Wars to step out and say something, do something grand, make some sort of overture to try to rally the Star Wars fandom together. Maybe it would have worked. Maybe it wouldn't have worked. Whatever. Try. And she didn't. And it was that deafening silence amidst all the division, amidst all the toxicity, amongst all that stuff, that when you compound it with the fact that I'm tired of movies that look backwards instead of forwards, when you compound it with the fact that in 4 movies, she's had 4 big director dramas, compound that with other things along the way, it just became too much. And when finally we got to the 6-month mark, 6 months after, The Last Jedi, that she still hadn't said anything, and it became clear she wasn't going to do anything about it. She doesn't see it as her responsibility to be that figurehead for the Star Wars universe. That's when I finally said to myself, okay, she's a terrific movie executive. She's obviously super gifted and super talented, and I have a mountain of respect for her. If Steven Spielberg does, and if George Lucas do, that's good enough for me. I do too. But there have been many times in my lifetime that the Toronto Maple Leafs have hired a new coach that I've gone, yes, this is a perfect guy for this. To a few years later go, okay, it was a great idea, but it hasn't worked. Got to try somebody else. I feel the same way about Kathleen Kennedy. I have a huge amount of respect for her. I think she's awesome. Spielberg thinks she's awesome. Lucas thinks she's awesome. Great. But everything has just now piled up so much, and I laid out my reasons. And my reasons for thinking she should be gone are very different from a lot of other people's reasons for thinking she should be gone. But I just think it's in her best interest. I think it's in Lucasfilm best interest, and I think it's in Star Wars best interest if she moved on and took on something else at this point, and something else she can really succeed in. It hasn't worked with Star Wars. And it's difficult to say that because, look, first of all, Disney is not going to fire her. There's no way Disney's going to, at least not anytime soon. Disney is not going to fire her anytime soon. Are you kidding me? $4.5 billion with her first 3 movies out of the gate. Even Kevin Feige hasn't done that. Now, you can make excuses all you want, and I can come up with a billion reasons to try to put asterisks beside that. Yeah, but this, and yeah, but that. Maybe. Bottom line, the first 3 movies under her leadership made $4.5 billion. And that's the only thing shareholders, Bob Iger, all these guys are going to see and care about. That's why I said, in my video, one of the things that I said was that the title of my video was very important, that the title of my video was that it was, she needs to step down. The title of my video on Kathleen Kennedy is that she needs to step down because Disney's not going to move her. Again, not at least until 2020. Like if episode 9 comes out and is an unmitigated disaster, maybe then Disney will do something. But make no mistake about it, she's not going anywhere. She's made far too much money for this company. And that's why I said in my video, that's why I didn't title my video, Disney needs to fire Kathleen. No, because that's not going to happen. What I put it as the title of my video is that Kathleen Kennedy needs to step down. I believe it's in her best interests. I believe it's in the best interest of Star Wars. I believe it's in the best interest of Lucasfilm. I think she needs to step down. With the amount of money she's made this company, don't anybody hold your breath that Disney's about to fire her, because they're not. They're not. She just made them way too much money. And you can come up with and you and I can both sit down and come up with laundry lists about, yeah, but. We could do that all day till we're blue in the face. Disney does not care. Disney says, you put out 3 movies and made $4.5 billion? My goodness, Kathy, let's give you a raise. That's what they're thinking. And one movie that underperforms isn't going to do that. One movie that underperforms isn't going to change Disney's mind. I had some moron today write me this message and says, I think, John, you just got insider information. First of all, morons like this never think I actually get insider information until it suits their narrative. But they write to me, I think you got an inside word that Kathleen Kennedy's been fired, and that's why you're just putting this thing out now. You're an idiot. Anyway, no, make no mistake. Disney's not, let's put it this way. If Disney fires Kathleen Kennedy anytime before December of 2019, I will be shocked. Shocked. I mean, at this point, I think it's probably the right move, but they're not going to do it. She's just made too much money for them. It's just not going to happen. That's why I kind of make this appeal that she needs to step down. So anyway, we'll see how that all goes. All right, guys, it is 3 o'clock. We've gone an hour, so that will do it for today's installment of Open Mic. Thank you so much for joining me. Listen, don't forget, guys, any of you guys who've sent in live questions, for instance, Karat there. I didn't get to Karat's question, but don't worry, Karat. Your question is going to be on the next companion video. I will take all these questions you guys have sent in, move them over to the companion video list, and they will be on the next companion video. All right, guys, that will do it for me for today. I hope you have a wonderful Friday evening. Have some fun. Hang out with friends and family. Stay safe. Don't drink and dive. All that kind of stuff. My name is John Campea, and until the next video, bye-bye.